The old lady neighbor downstairs is infuriating. She used to run and knock on the door, but I stopped opening it. Now she ambushes me on the stairs and complains that there's someone stomping in my apartment. The fact that I live alone and work all day is not an argument for her. The old lady thinks I'm bringing guys into the apartment and that I've turned it into some kind of den. Recently, someone even defecated under my door and smeared the handle with feces. Who else could have done it? And her son laughs, saying his mom is just bored, that's why she wants to communicate like that.
We work with my wife, earning decently. We have an apartment where we live, and another one, belonging to my wife, that we rent out. My wife also has 2 more apartments from her parents as a pension supplement. We both want children, but each time it leads to conflict. I believe it's time. She's 30, I'm 32, but every time I run into a wall of misunderstanding. The last time, she said to me, "Can you even imagine how we will live on a paltry $200,000? And we don't even spend $200 a month, in fact, a maximum of $80 goes towards everyday expenses."
My husband was set up by a close friend, and 8 people came to us with a search warrant. A 6-hour search during which they ransacked the entire house, pulled out all the linens, all personal belongings, even barely allowed access to the bathroom. I learned what hell is. Before, I had only seen such things in movies. They left, but now I have this ugly feeling, as if I can never wash it off for the rest of my life. I won't be able to live here anymore, I'll have to leave. The demise of our leader, who was an excellent manager and a genuinely pleasant person, always polite and often coming to our aid. The team decided to pitch in for a wreath, but one colleague threw a tantrum, claiming it's not her problem and so on. I just don't understand such behavior, for the life of me. If you don't have the money, just say so. I'm sorry, I can't. You're not obligated, it's voluntary, but there's still a need to show some regard. It leaves a bitter taste in the soul. How annoying is the blatant and shameless lying during job interviews? What's the point of doing this? Do they think I won't notice or find out? Need to participate in promotional events a couple of times a month. In reality, every day, rain or shine, you're obligated to post advertisements/hand out flyers, occasionally engaging in verbal skirmishes with old ladies. You don't want to explain to me why I'm moonlighting as a promoter for free? Also, as a janitor, we clean the floors at work ourselves. Sure, no problem, but pay for it. No? Then why on earth should? Did anyone mention this during the interview? No. And then they wonder why they have high turnover. My sister successfully got married and lives in a luxurious house with servants, walk-in closets, and more. Recently, she developed an interest in orthodoxy and now donates hundreds of thousands to the church. And me? I live with my beloved, who's struggling. I'm paying off loans, can't finish the renovation in my modest 1-bedroom apartment, carry a string bag instead of a purse, and now, with these prices, I can't afford decent food. I love my sister dearly, but sometimes it's heartbreaking. How can one spend so much on the church while their own family is struggling? Moved with my husband to the suburbs, a nice house, a lawn in front, with thuja trees and flower beds, a garage, a barbecue area on the side, and a sports ground. In general, we enjoy having guests. However, none of them has been to the backyard, enclosed by a fence. There, I have my beloved garden, greenhouses, my husband's favorites, chickens, geese, a splendid orchard, a pond with carp, and a view of a clean field. Like everything in our lives, there's a clean side for the opinions of others and a private space for the soul, where not everyone is welcome to avoid bringing in any dirt. My dad is 59, and mom is 54. Dad hasn't been working for many years due to health issues, broken legs, half of the blood vessels in the brain not functioning, partially paralyzed left arm, blood pressure spikes to 200 every other day, occasional loss of consciousness, a history of stroke, and numerous surgeries. Despite all this, in the evenings, he enjoys fooling around with mom, flying model airplanes, programming, doing repairs, spending time with his grandson, fixing gadgets, and being an amazing person. At 22, I joined a branch of a large company as office plankton. Immediate bosses and owners personally checked in on us. When the deputy was away on a business trip and the owners were occupied, their 15-year-old daughter would sometimes visit us. Her voice was louder than a speaker, never raised at once, but she managed everyone. She would come unexpectedly and consistently break up our tea breaks and prolonged smoke sessions, walking around with a notepad, questioning us. I despised this young tyrant, as did many. She quickly made people fly from their workplaces. Because of her, I became more diligent. I left the job a long time ago, voluntarily, but only by the age of 30 did I realize that she taught me how to work, without laziness and I want tea, just simply to work. I am very grateful to her. This skill has been very useful to me. People's inability to visit properly drives me crazy. For instance, good friends come over and bring their damn dog. A dog, damn it. First, they take it for a walk, and then they bring it to my place without a single thought that I might not like it. Or, for example, someone comes and stays endlessly, sometimes until 2 in the morning. Damn it, knowing I have to work the next day. And I'm a modest person, never able to express everything I think directly.
My aunt was a tidy woman, but she bought her shoes at the market or in the crosswalks. One day she was riding on a streetcar and a man started looking at her. When she arrived at her stop, she walked to her house. The man followed, and when they were on the same level, he said to her, "Woman, you were walking so fast. You lost a soul." Handed her, like a gentleman, her soul, and walked away. Since then, my aunt has been trying to buy quality shoes. Yesterday I broke the glass on my iPhone. I went to the master and had it replaced, came back tired and went to bed, putting the phone next to me. I woke up in the morning and couldn't find my phone. It was tangled in the blanket. Nothing better came into my head than to shake the blanket well. In the end I go again to change the glass, but already, perhaps, to another master, riding on a bus. There's a fire in the cabin. Well, as a fire, a slight ignition with a lot of smoke, nothing outstanding so far, but you can already start laying bricks. Dialogues of the passengers. Driver. The bus is on fire. Stop it. Oh, it's the wiring, not the whole bus is on fire. Let's keep going. I'm late for work. Yes, woman, it's on fire. Move away. Don't stand where it's on fire. Move on, driver. That's how people rush to their favorite job.
I always thought that my father was the closest friend who was incapable of betrayal. I always defended him. A couple of years ago, the whole family was able to get together for a summer vacation in Sokai. It was very important for me, because it was so rare to be with relatives far away from everyone, especially at sea. Dad had to give up his ticket because of difficulties at work, and we flew on vacation without him. Today I learned from my mother that at that time my father was grilling his mistress on the beaches of Turkey during our vacation. My cousin is a cerebral palsy patient. He can't walk, he can't speak well, his hands don't work well, sometimes he drools because his facial muscles cramp up. However, he has the intelligence of a normal person. We are very friendly. Today we were walking with him and 2 young girls who were smoking walked by. One of them said loudly, "Oh, you shouldn't even take them outside." I went over and gave her a good slap in the ass, because no way. She has not achieved anything yet, and my brother has read so many books, which she never dreamed of, works, provides for himself and his mother, while a very kind and open person. Appearances are very deceiving, one can be more tolerant.
I come from a well-to-do family, have a nice car, live in the city center, etc. I am very much annoyed when people start complaining about it. I get all this from my parents, who worked all their lives and achieved everything without dads and moms. If they can afford to buy their child luxury items, who cares? I never bragged about money, I communicate with absolutely everyone. I do not divide into rich and poor. I have not yet achieved anything in life, I admit it. But still, knowing my position, many poor mud.
The husband's sister is a whore. Their family is ordinary, but the girl wanted a luxurious life, so she ran around in dubious jobs until she came to prostitution. She told my husband and he shared it with me. I'm having a baby in a month, and I don't want my son to be babysat by a prostitute, even if it's an own one. What will she teach the child? Will she tell him that the main thing is to have money, no matter how he earns it? My husband agreed, but their parents do not know, and I do not know how to explain my conditions to them.
A man started coming to practice. One day, during a moment of rest, we were sitting with the whole team, and the topic of marriage came up. And the man said, I am married, but it still pisses me off that I have to sleep with only one woman all my life. And the other man said, if you wonder why you have to be faithful, then you got married for nothing, because you don't understand what it's all about. It's like a woman going to church and resenting being forced to wear a headscarf. If you understand what it's all about, you won't have to ask that question.
I usually try to adhere to the rules of etiquette, to be polite. Once I gave way to a woman on the subway. She was short, full and carrying bags, so it was clearly uncomfortable to hold onto the handrail. Instead of a thank you, I heard a bunch of insults and the phrase, I'll dance on your grave. She said it 3 times. I'm not giving in anymore. I think I've lost my mind. For a long time I dreamed of living by the warm sea. I gathered my strength, saved up, and moved. For 3 years I was absolutely happy. Mountains, sea, fresh clean air, activity, warmth all year round. And then I started to notice that I want to go back to my small and dirty northern city. To walk on miserable yards, to freeze. And for what? To dream of going to the sea again. Like, life will change soon, everything will be cool, you can do it. In short, I lack some kind of bright dream. Because I'm doing too well as it is, the cuckoo is crawling away slowly but surely. I was 6 years old at the time when a dog bit my face. Today I am almost 30, successfully married, 3 plastic surgeries behind me, and a baggage of complexes, which I skillfully hide and try to compensate with other good qualities. But in my youth, I had a favorite game, deliberately fall in love with the brightest and most beautiful guys, self-affirmation by this and then throw for unnecessary. And what they have from this fans did not decrease, but I gained confidence in myself after a hunted childhood. My mom's brother is an alcoholic. When my grandmother was dying, she looked my mom in the eyes and tearfully begged, don't leave that bastard. Mom pulls him in every way she can, put him in rehab, but there's nothing you can do about a 40-year-old drinking bastard. Yes, he has a hard fate, he has spent his life taking care of his sick parents, but I sincerely wish him to die. I can't see my mom's tears, even on a long-awaited vacation she sobs every day. He has given away more than 1 laptop, phone, bike and many things for a drink. I'll tell you my shameful shame. As a student, I used to steal cigarettes from a hypermarket. When entering the store, I immediately took a pack on the stand, and while I went for other goods, I hid it. Once I got caught, they must have been watching me. They demanded to see the bag, but I carefully put it behind my back and said that I changed my mind about buying and left it somewhere in the hole. I was ready to fall through the ground. That year I lost or maybe had my phone stolen. Karma, I guess. The guy's cat is freaking out. He buys her expensive food, fresh meat, bought her a leather collar, her shampoo costs $200. The apogee for me was buying a down jacket to ride in the car since the cat is freezing. The down jacket is twice as expensive as mine. Of course, I realize his money is being spent on all this. I haven't invested a dime in the cat in all this time. The guy makes good money, these expenses don't affect our lives much. But the sight of all that money on a cat makes me want to cry. I don't understand it and I never will. I don't look 23 years old, and they always ask for ID everywhere. I go into a sex shop to buy condoms, which are just behind the saleswoman's back. This is the fourth such store, and the condoms I need are nowhere to be found. I tried to see what I needed behind her back, but I couldn't see shit, because she had her arms spread out like a cobra and was blocking the window, demanding my passport. I tried to calmly explain to this lady that I would show her documents if I found the right product. And she yelled and threw me out, "Bitch." In the evening I was coming from the store. It was quite late, and I looked ahead and saw a group of diverse people standing in a circle. There were grandmothers, Saturday night walkers with bottles of beer, and decently dressed couples. When I got closer, I realized what had brought them all together on 1 square meter. There was a cat lying on the sidewalk, probably a cat that had fallen out of a window or fallen from a tree. I don't know for sure and couldn't find out. And the company was chatting animatedly about where to find a 24-hour veterinary clinic. I had a crazy literature teacher in high school who was obsessed with 2 things, her subject and her son. He was about our age, and we usually spent every class listening to tirades about his brilliance, his wonderfulness, his skills in everything imaginable. 12 years after graduation, I interviewed this guy for our department at work, pristine mustaches, calls from his mom in the middle of the sober to answer, and getting up at 6 in the morning he'd certainly still consider. They didn't.
I was 24 years old, she was 21. A rooftop date at a cafe in those translucent cozy booths, with the occasional waiter stopping by to check in. Light music, hookah, appetizers. We look at each other, we start kissing, I paw her, I go further, we get heated up, I bend her to the wall, I enter from behind. I'm about to come when the waiter comes in. I send the girl to the table, she pulls up her pants. I pulled my own only from behind, and, while the waiter was changing plates, I wondered aloud at the drawing on the wall. Married for 9 years, we have been living together for 11 years. And all this time in my beloved first slightly stressed me, and now it just pisses me off the absence of any shyness, timidity, or some light complexes. I don't know how to say it right. For example, not closing the fitting room curtain is fine, she's not completely naked. To change clothes on the beach also, the bra can be changed quickly, not covering, like no one will notice, and underwear under the towel can be changed. So what if she flashed her naked ass in front of everyone? A couple of seconds, nothing. We'll open the door for the courier in a lacy nightie. Nipples and unshaven pubes? It's no big deal, the delivery guys have seen worse. You can go out on the balcony naked too. Of course, no one's looking. They only go out for a smoke. It's like that all the time. The weirdest thing is that I got her as a virgin.
3 weeks ago I moved into a new apartment where my neighbor is a grandmother in her 70s. She hates dogs, and we have a lot of people who keep them at home. So I came out of the entrance one day, and a weighty stone flew right into my knee, and around the corner on a stool sits the same nasty grandmother. On my mute question, she said she didn't mean it, that she was waiting for the dog. It is necessary to hate so much to sit on purpose in bushes, as a partisan pretending to be a bush and waiting for an unsuspecting animal. I'm afraid not to say hello to her. I don't understand how people live without hobbies. How can you live with only work or family? There hasn't been a day when I didn't want to come home sooner to do something I love, even a good book to read or a TV series to watch. Crafts, music, reading, board games. How great it is to be energized by something and rush home to just enjoy the evening. Why do so many people get bored being alone? I don't get it. And yes, I am an introvert.